Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, That Carnivore Life. I took a little bit of a break while I was traveling across the country and settling into my new home in Alabama. It was quite the move, and I actually got incredibly sick at the same time, which is really bizarre. I was sick for around a month. It was just weird. I believe part of that problem was the fact that I had no time to rest. So, yes, while I wasn't driving and I could put the car seat back a little bit, to lay down, somewhat to be able to sleep and rest, it's not the same. It's a little bit like trying to sleep on an airplane. Unless you're in first class, you ain't properly sleeping. Fortunately, I was not driving across the country alone. I don't know if I would have made it. I'm very grateful to my boyfriend for doing all of the driving. The road trip was great. I believe if you were following me on Instagram, you probably would have seen some updates more at the first half of the road trip as opposed to the last half. We were able to do some sightseeing things, even though I was really affected in my capacity to do this, but we were able to see a lot of things in Vegas, able to go to the Grand Canyon, Hoover Dam, the Bumblebee Transformer statue in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that was really fun to be able to do those things. As you can see, the title of this video is called Carnivore Frustration, or it's about frustrations with carnivore. I'm only going to share one frustration today, but that is dairy. I'm really frustrated regarding dairy on carnivore. So the definitions of a carnivore or the description of a carnivore is typically somebody who, like a mammal who exclusively eats meat only 99% of the time. They can eat non-meat if they need to, things like grass or vegetables or fruits, but typically they eat meat only 98 to 99% of the time. So if you space that over a year, it could be that you eat some berries or some honey in the seasonal window where you locate it out in the wild, or you grow a couple of blueberry bushes in your backyard, so when they fruit you get the fruit, you eat the few berries that come off of it, as opposed to walking into a grocery store once a week and getting an entire punnet. That is not 98 to 99% of the time carnivore. The other definition of a carnivore is somebody who eats what comes from an animal. And there's different levels, there's the lion diet. If you're needing to do an elimination diet, that's where you eat ruminant meat only and salt and water, or just the ruminant meat and water. And then there's people who will eat all types of animals, land, sea, and air. There's also the people who will eat what comes from an animal, like eggs. Some will eat cured meats or will only eat bacon, but not the other cured processed meats like salami and pepperoni. And then there are people who will eat the acceptable foods on carnivore that aren't really carnivore. So they'll have some seasonings. They might have some yellow mustard or vinegar. They might have, egg life wraps. They might have tea or coffee. Then there's people who will also have the dairy that comes from an animal. So milks, cheeses, yogurts, kefir, or they might only just have heavy whipping cream, or they might only have butter, or might only have ghee, but it's not meat. Typically, I am the person who ideally wants to only eat meat, land, sea, air, plus eggs, and sometimes bacon. But more than I would like to admit, I also do enjoy dairy, mostly in the form of heavy whipping cream and cheese. Heavy whipping cream definitely stalls my progress as far as weight loss is concerned, and does at times, depending on how much I have, cause me to put on weight. But it also gives me some, breakouts in my lower cheeks, chin area, of my face. But my biggest frustration with carnivore is not being able to consume dairy in the variety and volume that I want to. It's really nice to eat cheese. Halloumi, mozzarella, bocconcini, which is the baby mozzarella balls, Parmesan, oh my gosh, heavy whipping cream. It's really frustrating not being able to consume, carnivore ice cream. So carnivore desserts. So I am really good at being creative in the kitchen, and I can make things like egg pudding, custard, creme brulee, panna cotta, what's some of the other stuff? Cheesecake, pudding, just other dairy-based carnivore desserts. If I make them, I eat them in large volumes. They're very triggering for my inability to portion control. I can portion control with meat. I can portion control with eggs. Can't portion control with dairy very well at all, especially if it's in those forms. So I'm very good at making those things without sugar, without carbs, other than what naturally occurs in the fact that they are dairy, without the flour or whatever else goes in it that isn't carnivore. Very, very good at making them taste reasonable. And yeah, sure, I can make them and I can eat them, but they affect my progress towards the goals that I want to achieve in ways that I am not happy with. They stall my weight, or they cause me to put on weight depending on how much I have, and they cause breakouts. I also think that they contribute to the lower back, hip pain that I get. And so it's just really frustrating in general, and I don't like it. And I want to have the dairy. I want to have whipped cream for dessert every night. I want to be able to have tea with heavy cream, so I'm not drinking a black tea when I have a tea, which isn't very often. So when I do have a tea, I do have heavy whipping cream. I've had probably a tea at least once to twice a week over the last week to 2 weeks. I've averaged one tea about every third-ish day. That's not to say I've had a tea every third day. It's to say one day I had 2 teas. Today I've had 2 teas. Another day I had 1 tea. That's what I mean by that. So frustrations with carnivore. What is my number one frustration with carnivore? Dairy and the way that it interacts with our ability as carnivores to meet weight loss goals and to meet skin clarity goals. If you are somebody who does not have skin issues, psoriasis, eczema, if you are somebody who's doing carnivore to put on weight, or you're at the point where you're maintaining weight, great, add in dairy. Add it in, have it, don't go overboard. But I'm not one of those people. And that makes carnivore frustrating. That's it. That's all I have for you today. I'm going to do more of these carnivore frustration videos. Please keep an eye out on my channel. Subscribe to get notified. Hit the notification button, which is the bell, so that you're notified of upcoming videos. And please like my video. I would love it. It just shows me some love. Feel free to comment below as well any frustrations you have with carnivore. Maybe it's something I can help you out with. Also comment below if you have a dairy frustration with carnivore. Thank you all for joining me and supporting me as I navigate life as a carnivore, and I hope to see you again in the future on my channel. Oh, also go follow me over on Instagram, that carnivorelife.gram. I am way more frequent in posting content there. Bye. See you next time.